This episode of Earn Your Happy is sponsored in part by Shopify, Constant Contact, Cozy Earth, Airbnb, and OpenPhone. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/happy. Constant Contact's award-winning marketing platform is here to make marketing way easier and way more effective. Try Constant Contact free for 30 days at constantcontact.com. Where would you live for a year if you hosted your home on Airbnb and went on an adventure? Find a co-host at airbnb.com/host. Sleep cooler, lounge lighter, stay cozy. Go to cozyearth.com and use code EARN for 40% off. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. OpenPhone is offering my listeners 20% off of your first 6 months at openphone.com/earn.
What was the frequency that you started your business in? Were you starting a business because you got kicked out of corporate? Were you starting a business out of lack or scarcity? Or did you start your business from a really beautiful heart-centered place? Did it drop into you? Was it inspired? See how there's two different camps here?
Yeah.
There's one that's built on a low frequency and vibration, and then there's another one that's built out of abundance. So where did you build your business? What is the foundation of that?
What happens if we realize we built it out of fear?
Most things are.
Yeah.
Most things are.
Tell me more. I'm just kidding.
Right? And this is a really beautiful opportunity to see what needs to be healed in your business. Our businesses are just extensions of us.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Earn Your Happy podcast. Today's episode is another throwback, one of my favorite conversations. And you guys know that I've had this podcast for 8 years. So if you're newer to the podcast, I have literally recorded over 1,400 episodes, you guys. So I want to make sure that you don't miss any of these super amazing, juicy conversations that I have chosen just for you, because I can't tell you about the wealth of knowledge that is in this freaking catalog of throwbacks. I don't want you to miss it. It's truly what has changed my life and helped me on my journey of growth in entrepreneurship, in relationships, in personal development. And I know that these messages are going to hit you in the same kind of powerful way that they hit me. So I hope that you love this one as much as I do. And let's get started. Sam, welcome to the Earn Your Happy podcast. I'm so excited to have you on in person.
Yes. Oh my gosh, such an honor. Thank you so much for having me. I've been such a fan of your podcast forever, and you, of course. And it's just nice to be here to share with you and your community. There's going to be some good stuff.
Oh God, there's never not good stuff when I'm around you. It's so funny because, so you guys, if you don't know, she does so much with sound healing, frequencies, sound baths. I have gotten to go to the portal and experience you at different events where you've done sound baths, sound healings. And it's funny because I am always having such a giant experience around you that even when I talk to you, I'm like, oh, I just had this whole other world that I was in.
Right.
Right. You create just these different, really life-altering, shifting experiences because you just reconnect us back to what we're supposed to be connected to, whatever that is for people.
Right.
Source, God, energy, raising frequencies.
Yes.
All of the things.
I say it's all the same. And wow, to hear your experience from that perspective is so beautiful. To take you from one experience, feeling, emotion, and into something that's so comforting, which is back home to the self. And when we're busy, when we're doing big, expansive things, going to the next level or in a deep season of growth, coming back home to the self is so imperative to what's in store for you.
It's really been answers for me. So when I've come to you, which is not half as much as I should, to be quite honest, because it's busy times right now, busy season.
Yeah.
I've also come to you in hard times when it wasn't busy season. But what I have learned is if you're looking for answers, it's where you're going to find them.
100%.
Because it's space to hear yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I like to say, so there's a big difference between sound and noise. And we are surrounded by so much noise all the time. And when you drop into a sound session, it really mutes out all of the noise, the chaos, the unsolicited advice or feedback that you're not looking for. And you just want clarity within yourself to know what is for you and what is designed for you and what is not yours. And sound healing really blocks out the noise and brings you directly into the frequency of you.
So we're going to talk all about how to energetically align with your next level. But I do want to talk about how amazing this is for people if they are needing the answers in the space, because meditation can be really tough for a lot of people. It's almost too silent. There's something about the frequency or the sound that really actually kind of lets that all fall away, and it takes the stress off of doing something right. Why is that? What is that doing for us?
Well, it's recalibrating our frequency system within our body. So our chakras are energetic portals of the body. And when they get out of attunement, alignment, then things start to feel phonetic in the body. And the way back is to basically use it as a tuning fork to realign the body so that clarity can come in. And the mind is just so saturated and overconsumed by information and things to do and the shoulds and the what ifs and all of that, that the moment your mind starts to drift into another place, another frequency will come in and bring you right back into this moment. And so it's a really beautiful facilitator of presence, which in this day and age, like, it's very difficult. You know, we've got the swiping that is so quick and information is just so fast, which is a blessing and a curse, you know, and we can't do that with our mind. And so the way to slow down is to bring in frequency that is soothing for the system rather than overstimulating for the system.
Okay, so let's get into it. How to energetically align with your next level. What does that mean to you? I know some people are listening and they're like, okay, I know my next level. I can see who I want to be, but how do we energetically align? Like, what does this look like?
Yeah. Okay. So there's been a time in your life where you know that there's something next. You don't know exactly how to get there.
Yeah.
That is the gap. That is the void. And I think a lot of people tend to fill that void and that gap with things to do or, you know, filling the numbers or whatever it is, right? But that gap is so, so important and vital for the next phase, the next level, the next expansion, the next growth, because we need our body to literally raise the vibration internally to meet that higher vision that we have for ourselves. So if you're into manifesting at all, manifesting 101 is you think about the thing that you're wanting to call in and then you forget about it. But you want to be a vibrational match to that thing. So if you say you want to be a millionaire, but you're not there just yet, you need to start acting and behaving as if you're already the millionaire, right? But you need the space and the time to start practicing those things. So similar here is the next vision is we have this vision, we're calling it in, but we aren't a vibrational match to that. So sound healing is a really beautiful supplement to raising the vibration so that your body is starting to come up, creep up into the position of being able to receive it, and not just receive it, but hold that abundance. That's where a lot of people get it wrong is they call in this abundance. They're powerful manifestors with or without knowing it. There's so many people out there who are powerful manifestors who don't even realize it. It's amazing. But once the thing comes to them, they're not vibrationally strong enough to hold it, and they end up losing the thing that they called in.
Okay, so for anybody listening and they're like, so am I after holding a feeling? Am I after holding a thought? What does that look like? Because let's use me for example right now, or anybody can also relate to this, where maybe they want to be a certain type of business owner or a founder, or they want their company to be at a set number. How do we take a goal of, I want to be a founder of this company that is making, let's just say $1 million a year. How do we start to learn how to match that frequency?
Depends on where you're starting. So let's say we're starting at 300,000 if we're going to be the $1 million goal, right? So sometimes it's difficult to jump from 300 to a million.
Yeah.
Like that's a big jump. 300 to 500 is not as big of a jump.
Right.
So incrementally shifting your perspectives, the way you think, the way you feel, even imagining opening up your bank account and seeing 500 instead of 3. So actually 3 and 5 look pretty similar. So that's an easy thing to even close your eyes and imagine, and you can actually see it, right? And then you get more comfortable with that. So you have to put in the reps of seeing this come to life. And then once you see the 5, then we can switch up to 8. And then once we get from 8, then it's easier to get to 1,000,000. So incrementally shifting the vibration, the frequency, so it's not that big of a jump, because then you can believe it. It's really about harnessing the belief and the faith and the knowing that it's going to happen. When I have big things coming into my life, or I'm calling big things into my life, I only do it if I undoubtedly know it's going to happen. I don't have to have any shred of evidence that it's going to happen. I just know deep in my bones, this is for me. And sometimes I have to do that step by step.
That's pretty much how I feel like I've learned it's had to go for me as well. So for somebody who doesn't have any proof yet or doesn't know, they're just like in it. They're like in the thick of it. They're surrounded still by maybe their old friends.
Yeah.
How can they start to shift based off of not having any proof?
So again, like little steps, right? And sometimes that's as little as looking in the mirror and saying, you got this. I got this. I got this today. I got this right now in this moment. 5 moments from now, I'm not going to worry about, but right now I got this. And so it's so micro until it's macro. And it is really about this internal dialogue, the belief system, the mindset. If you're looping on toxic behaviors in your mind for yourself, you're not going to be able to get what you want. So even changing the frequency of the things that you're thinking about, the things that you're listening to, the things that you're consuming in all sorts of ways. So it's the small life day-to-day behaviors that will get you to the next level.
Okay. So we're going to talk about that in a lot of different scenarios, but let's talk about when you and I had chatted, we had done a pre-call to really dig in deep to this. Let's talk about the frequency in which you're building your business and which it might be already built on. So tell me about this and why we need to look at it.
Yeah, I love this topic so much. So something really important, let's say you already have a business built and there's hiccups, there's things that aren't quite going right. Maybe you're like in the thick of it and you're in the growth phase and things just aren't meshing, right? Maybe it was a good start and there was some great momentum and now you feel a little bit stuck. I encourage everybody to think about, what was the frequency that you started your business in? Were you starting a business because you got kicked out of corporate? Were you starting a business out of lack or scarcity? Or were you frustrated with what you were doing before and then you wanted to start something of your own? Or did you start your business from a really beautiful heart-centered place? Did it drop into you? Was it inspired? Was there freedom and liberation behind what you were building? So see how there's 2 different camps here.
Yeah.
There's one that's built on a low frequency and vibration of scarcity. We'll just name it that for now.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that's built out of abundance. So where did you build your business? What is the foundation of that?
What happens if we realize we built it out of fear in the beginning?
Most things are.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, tell me more. I'm just kidding.
Right? This is a really beautiful opportunity to see what needs to be healed in your business. Our businesses are just extensions of us. If it's something we are truly passionate about, that's an extension of us. And so it's going to reflect where you were when you started to build it. So internally, what was going on for yourself? Where do you need to go back and heal parts of yourself? And how did that show up in your business? So for me in particular, when I started my business about 7 years ago, it was like a beautiful kind of combo time of liberation and freedom, but also like, oh my God, I need to do this. This is really scary. So there was a lot of fear because I didn't know a lot about like the back end of business. And so the back end of my business is going through healing right now of, getting the right people in place, getting the support in place, getting the processes and the systems down. It was not that way when I first started. And so it was a little messy. So where in your business is it messy? And how is that a reflection of you? And where can you start to heal those parts of yourself to be reflecting a different foundation in your business?
That's interesting because I can almost ask myself, like, what am I afraid of in my business? And that's where it's because that's where you're not looking, or that's where you are skimming over it. I'm just trying to think of like times in my business where it's like, oh, I didn't trust myself in that decision. And that's where it's like really showing.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to give scenarios to people where they can see like, when you say heal your business, is there a list of questions that I know that you just gave some, but is there like something that we can go through and ask ourselves in order to find exactly what we first need to do? Is there like signs of where some people are going to do this and there's going to be like 20 things and they're going to feel really overwhelmed because if this was past me. So what do you think we should focus on first?
The smaller thing. So to give yourself confidence that you're capable of healing, that your business is capable of healing. And then once you build that confidence, then you can go into the more like, I would say like medium stressors. You know, again, you don't want to heal your business from a place of fear either. So healing comes from open curiosity, compassion, love, and grace. And so where can you meet yourself there in the way that you're healing yourself in your business? So if you're coming up against an issue and you're like, oh my God, why did I do this? I was such an idiot back then. Or, you know, talking down to even your healing process, it's not going to heal. It's just going to be cluttered with more toxic things. And so if like, oh, wow, I'm healing from a place that I didn't know. That unconscious incompetence, right? And so getting to a place of conscious competence is a process, but it comes with curiosity of like, wow, I didn't know that I needed support back then in these ways. Now I know I need that support. I'm open and willing to ask for it. And, you know, asking for help is a really big thing for most people, and it's hard to do for a lot of people.
Yeah. And it's the most powerful thing that I've done. Just all of the different people that have come in when asking for help. Okay. So something super cool about frequencies is the FDA now approves it for what?
This is literally like the best thing that I've ever heard. So me, myself, I am a 3-time cancer survivor. And this past October of 2023, the FDA approved a treatment for liver cancer that is based off sound and frequency.
Wow.
And this is what I've been preaching to people, but until there's science behind it, you know, the efficacy, people are like, I don't know.
You're
It seems woo-woo.
For this person. They're like, yeah, I need the FDA.
Yes. So it's a really, really big moment for treatment of cancer of all forms. But right now it's being used for liver cancer and soft tissue cancer. So what it does is it takes in ultrasound, sound and frequency waves to the tumor site and it infuses the tumor with sound and frequency, which ends up putting these micro bubbles into the cancer cell, almost exploding the cell. And then your immune system naturally takes care of it.
Wow.
It's so powerful. So you can bypass the surgeries, the chemo, the radiation. This is huge, huge, huge for our healthcare system.
Okay. So I wanted to say that first, because we're going to talk even more about frequency in this podcast. That's just the beginning, because most of the time, a lot of the things that work, they just haven't been studied yet. They haven't done clinical studies and things like that. Right. So this is all starting, which is really exciting, around so many different things like this that are natural, that, you know, that have gone through history as being things that have really helped people. So when we're talking about frequency, for everybody who's listening, if you could kind of explain a little bit about how even different emotional states kind of carry a frequency. I know you talk a lot about, you know, internet and radio waves and like how we pick these things up. And it just helps people understand how very real it is in our lives.
Yeah. So I'll give a good, easy example. So you walk into a room and you can feel if the room is positive, electric, if it feels fun and inviting, or we've all been in those rooms where you can cut the tension with a knife and it's like, I don't want to be here. Nothing about this feels good. So we feel vibration and frequency all of the time. We are made up of energy, which is frequency. So that's who we are. Innately, that's how we come into this world. So we all have the ability to feel it. It's just slowing down enough and feeling in your body and being attuned to it and how you're going to relate to it. So there is, Dr. Hawkins has the scale, the frequency scale, the consciousness scale. And it's this beautiful spiral effect of going from a lower frequency to a higher frequency. And on the lower end, you've got shame, guilt, fear, anxiety, grief. These are lower frequencies.
And these are measured. Like there's actual measurable numbers that you can see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then as you move up the spiral into more of the positive feeling emotions, you start to get love, awareness, authenticity, self-actualization. And these have a huge effect on when we are feeling them, how it affects the person next to us. So a really beautiful example is in the Hawkins scale, there was a study done that if you are at a vibration of 500, which is love, the love frequency.
Okay.
We love love.
Is that like the highest, around the highest?
It's not the highest. 700 to 1,000 is the highest. And I'll get to that.
Okay.
But at level 500, you can affect 750,000 people. So if you are vibing at 500, 750,000 other people are going to be able to feel that radiating off of you. That's potent. Now, if you go up to 700 to 1,000, which is self-actualization, which is very difficult to get to, but we have moments of that, you can affect 70 million people.
Wow.
And so this is when we get people together for meditations or collective consciousness of trying to raise the vibration. The more people that we have come together to sit and try to raise the vibration, the frequency of ourselves, the higher effect it has. There's also science behind that and studies behind that where people have come together in group meditations and the crime risk in that city has lowered by significant measures, by 30% in some cases. So this is real.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I can tell you firsthand experience from living in Los Angeles during, pretty crazy times.
Yeah.
And collectively, you could talk to people and it would be the same conversation. And it was not great. It was a rough time. The feelings of everybody were very low. The hope for anything was extremely low. And I just remember every day in my house, I would do all the work I could, meaning like self-work. I'd be doing the meditations. I'd be doing all the things and they wouldn't feel like they were helping a lot. And it wasn't until we actually physically moved out of that area that I noticed it overnight. My whole nervous system, I felt lighter because I was in a collective soup of people feeling a certain way.
Yes.
And now I feel like things have definitely changed in that arena, which is great, but it's still from area to area. I truly feel like I can tell. And I don't know if you guys, or if you've watched there's a Netflix series right now about blue zones.
I haven't seen that. I need to.
It's really good, but it just essentially when they go to these areas, it's also about kind of a belief system that people hold. Like it is areas, blue zones are areas where it is the mentality of that glass is half full. It's a more positive outlook on life. They have a lot of joy. They look at life in a very positive manner. They feel very valuable in their communities. And so the collective of the entire area where blue zones are places where people are living, they're finding the most centurions. So longest living, over 100 years old, with feeling the happiest as well. And it's that same exact thing. It's like the belief system of all of the people around them. You can like just go randomly ask people and it's like the same core.
I love that so much. I need to live in a blue zone.
I know. Well, I feel like you travel to blue zones for sure.
I'm trying to make a blue zone here.
Yeah.
You know
what? I think Sedona actually is one of them, actually.
I could see that.
I'm almost positive. But I think Costa Rica has one. I think there was somewhere in Greece and in Italy. Yeah, there's so many interesting things about that. Okay, so the Hawkins scale, 700 is the highest on it, and that's like self-actualization.
Self-actualization.
Okay, that's not necessarily something we're going to reach, right?
It's difficult. I think that there's moments of self-actualization, and that's when you're feeling like at your peak, you're in your flow, everything is going in the direction that you have seen it where you want it to go. It's that undeniable feeling of connection. And not because of the money that you're bringing in, not because of anything outside of yourself. It's all internal. So it's the deepest love that you can have for yourself and just be completely at home and knowing that you're a sovereign being. That's self-actualization. And so I think that we have moments of that if we're lucky.
Okay, what you just said was it's so simple, but was so profound to me. Like, okay, self-actualization is when you are just the most connected. And so why wouldn't we just do as many things as we can to feel the most connected? But let's dig into that. The most connected to what, to who, to how. And I just realized everything in life is a distraction from that.
Absolutely.
Literally everything.
Everything. The system is made to distract us away from that, because what if we were all self-actualized?
We'd be making decisions that were best for us, not best for everyone else.
Right. Exactly. So systems are put in place to grab us away from that. But what do we do to get there? How are we the most deeply connected? And that's very individual, right? So for me, I feel the most deeply connected when I'm with nature, when I'm not necessarily like performing. And I don't mean that I'm like performing all the time, but on for somebody else.
Right.
I'm on for me. And I'm taking in deep breaths, and things are slow, and I can hear source connecting with me. I can feel source working through me. I can feel my blood coursing through my body. But I don't get that every day. I have things to do. I'm human.
Yeah.
I'm here to do big things, in the human capacity too. But I think that it's really important to at least try to schedule in some of that time, or schedule in spontaneous time to be able to deeply connect. Sometimes we can't go away to the mountains or the ocean to connect with nature, but if you can give yourself some space of not needing to do anything, but just being, that's when you have success towards self-actualization.
I know that you work with so many different people and, high level people, high achievers. That's so counterintuitive to people. They feel like they're getting less done.
Right.
Tell me how that works, what you've found, why that is the way to go, especially if you are busy.
Well, let's look at it. I mean, you're busy, you get a lot of things done, and it's worked for you. So there's evidence to support that you should always continue doing that.
Right.
That pattern, that behavior. And I have worked with so many top CEOs in the country and decision makers and politicians, and all of them have said something around the same thing of, it's lonely here up at the top, and I need something more. And so being at the top is not necessarily like the end
It's
goal,
not fulfilling
right?
them the way they thought.
No, it's not. It's because they've lost a connection to themselves. And so what ends up happening is we have to build rapport and build trust. Like, they have to trust me in order to take them on this tour in a journey of coming home to the self. And it takes some time to unprogram that. So it's an unlearning of these behaviors that made you as successful as you are, which is really scary. Why would I let go of the thing that got me here? Because now I have the money, I have the cars, I have the vacations, I have the homes, I have all the things, right? Like, why would I stop doing that?
Right.
But still, there's a sense of loss. And so it's, you can still have all of those things, and there's more. And there's something really beautiful on the other side of slow. And on the other side of slow is like this catapult back to then propel you forward, but it doesn't have to be as hard. It actually can be quite easy, because then you are connected to the divine and things are flowing to you. You're not efforting your way towards the next summit. You are being guided there, and it's so easy. And so if I can convince some people and build enough trust of like, just follow me, trust me, I'm your tour guide here to the next summit. I got you, I promise. And I don't keep promises very often, but this one I can promise. Once you trust and let go and slow down enough, you're going to find yourself in a different peak that is more beautiful than the one you could ever imagine.
So people who are high achievers, they've been able to achieve certain things in their life. They obviously have, because if I'm understanding it correctly, and for everybody listening, is it, okay, here's what I want. It's this company that, especially for some of the people you work with, okay, they have this $100 million company. Are they able to just like get in that frequency for their business, but other parts of their life are out? Like, how is that working? Because if they're totally out, let's just say like, they're like, everything is wrong in my life, but I've been able to make this other thing happen. And so they're so afraid to do anything different, but nothing else is working in their life. So how does that work? Does certain frequency, like, okay, we're only going to match you for this or that? Like, how does that all work?
Well, there's sacrifice, there's sacrifice in some of it. And I'm really not a believer of balance. I know that's kind of crazy to say. I think that there's like this pendulum, right?
Yeah.
And we have these moments of balance, and it's similar to that of maybe your scales have just been out of balance for a period of time, and that was working for you. And now let's try and find another pillar of balance for you to go into. That one's going to operate no matter what now. So you don't have to work at that. Let's look at the thing that's going to bring inner balance for you, inner peace and stillness and tranquility. And then from there, other things will start to, the relationship dynamics will start to smooth out. The way that you see the world, you might even change things that are operating in your business to be in more alignment with how you're feeling.
Okay, that's so interesting because I think some people think like, okay, you're going to borrow from that now, or you have to steal from that in order to make something else successful. But thinking of it this way actually makes you say, how can it stay operating that way so that now I can go give something else some attention?
Right. And so let's go back a little bit on the foundation that your business is built on. So it's built, it's strong, it's sturdy. It's not going to crack. Right. And so you have to trust what you've built is strong. If you can't trust what you built is strong, then you probably need to spend a little bit more time there.
Yeah.
But if you're like, that is so stable, then you can trust that you can do that for yourself. And also confidence in that. I built this thing so beautifully, so strong, and it's helping and impacting so many. I'm going to do that for me now. I talked to some of my clients about operating internally like a business. Like, what are you doing internally to move the needle on your internal business? Yeah. This is the business that I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
And that seems to resonate with a lot of the CEOs that I work with.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. They're like, oh yeah.
Okay. Frequency. I want to understand how you use sound because, some people, we all just find these different modalities that work for us. Tell me about how you use sound to create higher frequencies for different people. Do we focus in on what we want? Do you use different bowls? Explain this to somebody who actually has no clue what you do, what you use.
Right. I love that. So I have a background in trauma therapy. I was a trauma therapist for many years before I got into the work that I do now. And so all of the work that I do comes from a trauma-informed place of really the root cause and how we create patterns in our life that we've created. And typically it comes from some broken patterns, right? And so it's how can we rebuild new patterns through frequency? And thinking about the body as its own tuning fork, the sound bowls each hold a different frequency that help attune the body back to its purest form of frequency. So you don't have to think about anything. That's actually the beauty in sound healing is it's not something that you have to work on or towards. You just have to allow yourself to receive, which is the trickiest part for a lot of people. People are not great at receiving because that means you need to surrender control. And so once you can surrender control and allow yourself to receive, the frequency will penetrate the cells of your body and bring you back into alignment to the purest frequency. And then this is what I hear the most common when people are finished with a sound healing session. Wow, I feel so much lighter. The heaviness is displaced. It moves out of the body. And when heavy, dense energy moves out of the body, more flow can occur. You feel more clear-minded. You might have an aha moment come through. Maybe you go through a release during a session and you cry. You let something go that maybe you've been holding on to for a really long time. All of those things are energy leaks if we don't address them. So sound healing is a really great modality without having effort to bring you back into wholeness and completeness within yourself.
So this is so crazy to me because it also just made me realize that we are literally either sound healing or sound hurting all day long.
Oh,
like
wow, yeah.
The music that we listen to. So I don't know if you know this, but I grew up kind of as a teenager, like a rebel. And the guys that I would date, and one in particular who I dated for a really long time, like he was a singer, but he was in a band that was kind of death metal-y. like really hardcore punk ska. And we were into the whole like, snowboarder, like underground music. So like pretty hardcore stuff. Wasn't my favorite because I was dating him. It was just like what I was always around.
Right.
And it was such a heavy feeling to me all of the time. And actually him and his best friend are no longer with us. They both overdosed, which is very sad, but it was like the world and the heaviness of all of that. And I was just constantly in that sound. Life always felt, it was just like the energy was crazy. There was tons of drugs. There was lots of just like shadiness and betrayal. And it was constantly, music was the theme.
Right.
It was what they lived for. It was what it was all about. It was what like painted the entire picture of my teenage hood. And I just remember when I wasn't with them, I'd put on like freaking Britney Spears and just be like, oh,
get me
God,
out
it's
here.
so good. Why can't we just all listen to this? Like, feel so much lighter. And whenever I was in the car with them, I'd be like, I can't listen to this anymore. Now there was other fun music too that was kind of like mixed in, but I learned so much about like the frequency of who you're around and what you're around and what is painting the picture for your day. So a lot of you may have seen that my husband, Chris, and I run masterminds. And with that, we get to help scale entrepreneurs' businesses, but we also get to see the inside of their businesses and what they struggle with the most, from software to onboarding employees and creating a company culture. That's typically one of the biggest things. And Bamboo HR is a powerful yet flexible all-in-one HR solution for growing your business. Stop spending countless hours on payroll, time tracking, benefits, performance management. With Bamboo HR, those hours are shaved down to minutes so you can go and do what you do best. Bamboo HR also has robust hiring and onboarding tools that will streamline the process, thus creating much better first days and first impressions for those new hires. Plus, Bamboo HR prides itself on being super easy to use, easy to learn, easy to implement, and very easy to love. Take a couple minutes to check out the free demo and see how nimble and affordable this valuable tool can be. HR is hard, but Bamboo HR is easy. I can't recommend Bamboo HR enough. Check it out for yourself with a free demo at bamboohr.com/free demo. That's bamboohr.com/free demo. bamboohr.com/free demo. When you have a business, there are so many challenging things that you don't need to add more challenge by getting confused with your clients texting you or calling you on your own phone number. Let me tell you, there's nothing worse than knowing that you missed a text or a voicemail from somebody important in your business. And that's why OpenPhone is the #1 business phone system that streamlines and scales your customer communications. It works through an app on your phone or computer, so no more carrying two phones or using a landline. With OpenPhone, your team can share one number and collaborate on customer calls and texts like a shared inbox. That way, any teammate can pick up right where the last person left off, keeping response times faster than ever. Plus, say goodbye to voicemail because their AI agent can be set up in minutes to handle calls after hours. They can even answer questions and capture leads so you never miss a customer. So whether you're a one-person operation, drowning in calls and texts, or have a large team that needs better collaboration tools, OpenPhone is a no-brainer. OpenPhone is offering my listeners 20% off of your first 6 months at openphone.com/earn. That's OpenPhone.com/earn. And if you have existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. OpenPhone, no missed calls, no missed customers. So I live in the cutest little walkable neighborhood, and recently the store Cozy Earth opened up, and I was so excited about it because, I just love being able to go on my walks every single day. You guys know I go twice a day. And being able to pass by and go in there because it has some of the best stuff. And one of the things that really got me was their bamboo sheets. You guys, they're temperature regulating, guaranteed to give you a comfortable night's sleep, made from viscose from bamboo. They're naturally wick away heat and moisture from your body, helping you sleep several degrees cooler. And you guys, Cozy Earth's mission is to transform your 5 to 9, the time that matters most, into the most comfortable part of your day. And let me tell you, they are absolutely helping me do that because sleeping in a cooler environment offers so many scientifically supported benefits that enhance sleep quality and overall health. Here are some key findings from recent studies and expert recommendations, which I sleep in a really ice cold room. You can ask my husband. I don't know if he loves it as much as I do, but deep sleep is so important to me. So enhanced sleep quality. Cooler temperatures facilitate the body's natural drop in core temperature at night, promoting the release of melatonin, a hormone that regulates sleep. And this leads to faster sleep onset and improved sleep quality. It also helps with mood regulation. Cooler sleeping conditions can boost serotonin levels, contributing to improved mood and reduced symptoms of depression. And there's a reduced risk of night sweat. So for individuals experiencing night sweats, such as those undergoing menopause, perimenopause, cooler room temperatures can alleviate symptoms and promote uninterrupted sleep. So you guys, you can help yourself out with some sheets. I am telling you, these things are life-changing because deep sleep has changed my life. And I just feel like I have a different personality when I've gotten enough sleep. I feel like I have all of the energy that I need to get through my day and do all of the things that I have to do as an entrepreneur. So you can do this risk-free purchasing. It's a 100-night sleep trial. So you can try them during the hottest nights of the year, which are coming up. If you're not in love, you can return them hassle-free, but trust me, you won't. It's a 10-year warranty on all bedding products. That's a decade of cool quality sleep. You can upgrade your summer. Go to cozyearth.com and use code EARN for 40% off best-selling temperature regulating sheets, apparel, and more. So trust me, you'll feel the difference the very first night. Sleep cooler, lounge lighter, stay cozy. Go to cozyearth.com and use code EARN for 40% off.
So let's talk about that is music frequency like measurable?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
and does it change? Is there ways that you can see how it changes you?
Yes. This is so fascinating. It's called cymatics. So cymatics is the visual representation of sound and frequency. So if you put water in a sound bowl and you play it, you can see sacred geometry start to form through each different frequency, and they transform into these beautiful mandala-looking shapes and forms, squares, diamonds, all of the things. It's so beautiful. And when there is disruptive frequency, the water will start to dance and pop and be disorganized. That literally happens inside your body. Now, look, we are made up of like 80% water and fluids inside of our body. And so the music that we're listening to is vibrating what's inside of us. And so do you want your insides to be sacred geometry, or do you want it to be disorganized and chaotic and feeling disruptive? That's going to take the nervous system and like hijack it fully. Or you can listen to frequency and sound that's going to be soothing and moving in smooth, seamless operations within the body. I choose that one. I would choose that all day, every day. And I do. I stopped listening to a lot of different kinds of music. I was a bit of a rebel too growing up. I went through an emo stage for sure. And then I went through like all sorts of different phases. But I've really started to tune out a lot of music that is not of high frequency. Sometimes I literally just listen to frequency in my car or silence. I'm around sound a lot, and so I actually require a lot of silence to balance me out. But for those of you who may be listening to disorganized music, or just even having like background music on all of the time, that's overstimulating for the body. So give yourself a moment to just reset.
Oh my gosh.
And calm down.
News. Like I'll walk into sometimes, some of our parents, family. Come on, everybody knows. Everybody already knows. It'll just be on in the background, and we'll pop over to a family member's home, and we'll just be like, you actually have to turn this off because it's a feeling.
Yes.
I don't even need to hear it. If it's on the screen, I can actually feel it. Right. I know that is insane. And some people might be like, you can't feel that. But I think if you've done a lot of work around raising your frequency, you can then feel when it's not at a higher level.
Yeah. That just proves the fact of if you're vibrating at 500, you're affecting 750,000. These things that are on the TV, they're emitting that frequency, you can feel it. That's real.
So can we measure food frequency if our water has frequency? Because I got super into learning about Dr. Emoto a long time ago. Let's talk a little bit about that, because now people are like, oh my God, I'm getting all these frequencies. Can we change them ourselves? What does this look like?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much science behind the frequency of food also. Even the materials that we wear, I'm not there yet. Look.
You're a high vibe sweater.
I know.
You're a high vibe sweater. Okay.
Like linens and wools actually hold a very high vibration of frequency. Polyesters, as you can imagine, don't. I'm just not there yet. I'm trying to evolve. But even with our foods too, like organic foods, things that we grow ourselves that are free of pesticides and all of the things that are going to make it last longer, but it doesn't make us last longer. So yeah, there's a lot of science behind that also. And I would say, just if you're on the journey of raising your frequency and your vibration, take it one notch at a time, because just like anything else, like you can get overwhelmed by it, but choose the one thing that you want to move into. Maybe it is music. That's a pretty easy one. Like change the radio station, shift it over, listen to some high frequency, something that feels really good. And then maybe shifting into some of the things that you eat, shifting into some of the things that you're wearing or the products that you're using. It all carries vibration and frequency. And so even myself, like I've been in this game for a while now, and there's still things that I'm learning and changing and evolving into.
Yeah, I don't know if this necklace I ordered off Amazon is very high frequency, but I still love it. Okay, so going back to the blue zone thing, they were talking about, because they were trying to find the foods that are like, essentially, without saying high frequency, like what are the foods that are best for you that can make you live the longest? And while yes, they found that they eat pretty healthy foods, like the one in Italy, they're eating tons of pasta every single day. And there were lots of places proving that that's bad for you, but it wasn't impacting them in the same way.
Yeah.
And so what they were finding is that what impacted you more for living longer with your meal was how you were consuming it, meaning what energy were you in when you were consuming it?
Yes.
Which you just it's blowing my mind right now with the idea of the chaotic cells if you're in a different frequency. So thinking back to when I really struggled with food, I was always in fear.
Right.
So what frequency is fear in my body for all of my cells? It's chaotic. The food comes in, even if it's healthy, it doesn't really know what to do with it because it's not communicating in the same way.
Yes.
So thinking of these people are in pure joy. They're always eating with family or friends. Mealtime is their absolute favorite. And I'm only saying this because I watched it and this is what they were saying.
Yeah.
And so they could eat the pasta and every single day and live past 100 and feel great and be healthy and have all these healthy markers. Where if someone who's afraid of pasta eats pasta every day, we don't know. It's not obviously studied side by side, but that's so interesting to think about.
So I think that is incredibly fascinating, and let's have more dinners.
I know.
Where we're enjoying each other.
Right, with more pasta.
More pasta, please. But I actually send frequency into my food. I forgot about this until you just mentioned that. Every single meal. Even I speak into my water before I drink my water.
So when you say that, what does send frequency into your meal look like?
So Reiki energy, but it's all just positive energy flowing from you. So imagine like white light flowing from your fingertips of pure divinity and love, just pure love and gratitude. I'll hover my hands over my food or over my drink. Even if I'm drinking alcohol, which I don't do very often, I will send high vibration frequency into the wine that I'm drinking, and then I'll consume it. And people pray over their food, same kind of ideas, speaking nurturing gratitude, love, and kindness into the food.
It is the same exact idea. I love that.
Same exact idea. Yes. And just, you don't even need food to do this. What you are telling yourself about yourself, you're either poisoning yourself or you're nurturing yourself. So what is your internal dialogue? What are you feeding yourself? I talk about that all the time, especially with the throat chakra. Is what are you speaking internally to yourself? Your cells are listening. Another hack that I do, everybody's going to love this. Before bed, I'll close my eyes. I'm going to drift off to sleep. And I tell my cells, you are anti-aging.
Yes.
You are coming back into full formation of health and wellness. When I wake up, I'm going to be rejuvenated. My cells are listening to that before I go to sleep.
Girl, it's working for you.
I mean,
I have a girlfriend, Danette May, who also has an awesome podcast, but she says things like that to herself all the time, like that she's young, she's fit, she's vibrant, she's sexy, she's hot.
Yes.
Woman is hot, like that she is not aging. And she's like, it's because of obviously what I'm saying and doing. And it is a belief. And I think she will just get better and better because she really believes that and speaks it to herself every single day.
Absolutely.
And same with you. It's working. You guys, check out the video for real. So let's talk about really going back to the business portion, because I know people are not only excited about this in their life, but talking about how frequency can actually attract that next level. How does that all work? Because I do find that even now, when I go into rooms at a much higher frequency of not worrying about even who I meet or what happens in that room, it's almost like things are coming to me at a much faster rate. And I do believe it's because I'm working so hard. When I say to hold the frequency, we can chat about that too, but like to really show up as that person, to not feel needy, to feel like I already have the thing, to be very like content with where I'm at, to be excited about my business and what I'm doing. And I feel like that's changing a lot for me.
Right. So you are magnetic and abundant and confident. Everybody wants that. And whether they can put a pin on it or not, they can feel it. And so when you walk into a room, I always like walking into a room feeling like I own the place. Like whether it's my first time being there and I know nobody, or it's a place that I actually do own, like my studio, I walk into it like I own it and nobody can tell me any different. Because I do own that space that my bubble, my space, I own that space. And people are going to be attracted to that. And more abundance is going to flow into you.
When I first started Glossy, there were enough challenges that I didn't need to give myself more. And when you're starting off with something new, it just seems like your to-do list keeps on growing every day with new tasks. And often tasks that you have no idea how to do them. So finding the right tool that not only helps you out, but simplifies everything is a game changer. And for millions of businesses, including mine at Glossy, that tool is Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started, just like mine. Getting started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates, Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style, which if you go look at mine, I'm telling you, I love it. Accelerate your content creation. Shopify is packed with helpful AI tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography. So get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. You can easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/happy. Go to shopify.com/happy. Shopify.com/happy. I'm still dreaming about this trip we took last year to Paris. You guys, for me, there is nothing better than sitting at a cafe, eating a chocolate croissant and sipping a latte, watching the beautiful, stylish people of Paris walk by. That is my literal heaven. So if you heard recently on our He Said, She Said episode, Chris and I asked each other if we could live anywhere for a year in the world besides where we live that we love so much, where would it be? And we both said Paris at the same time. And we've been there a few times, but last year we were hosting a mastermind trip in Italy and we're like, we have to make a pit stop in Paris because we're so obsessed with it. And thinking more about that dream of living in Paris for a year, I love this idea that if we did that, we could have another couple or family get to enjoy our space back at home, and they're having the exact same experience of trying out their dream location. That way we could make a little extra cash, our home wouldn't be sitting empty, and with Airbnb's co-host network, an experienced co-host could take care of all the details while we're enjoying our dream of living in Paris. How incredible would that be? Where would you live for a year if you hosted your home on Airbnb and went on an adventure? I love that Airbnb is now making these dreams of living in different places possible. Find a co-host at airbnb.com/host. As many of you know, Chris and I run entrepreneurial masterminds, which means we not only run our own businesses, which we have multiple of, and our personal brands, but we also get to be inside of hundreds of entrepreneurial businesses a year, if not thousands, with our online businesses as well. So with that, we totally understand that all of us are facing so many challenges, whether it's AI or inflation or political decisions. So many things feel out of your control. And that's why growing your business is the only way forward. It's so important to grow, especially your email list, you guys. And Constant Contact's award-winning marketing platform is here to make marketing way easier and way more effective for a small business like yours. The best part, you don't need to know anything about marketing. Your struggle with expensive, slow, and unmeasurable marketing is over. With their all-in-one platform, you can create and manage attention-grabbing campaigns in just a few clicks. Email, text, social media, events, landing pages, you name it, it's all in one place. No more juggling dozens of different tools. You also get automated sending, real-time reporting, and tools that actually help drive sales. So you're not just marketing your business, you're growing it. And if you ever get stuck, friendly phone support is included with every plan. That's why over 500,000 small businesses trust Constant Contact to stay connected, top of mind, and ahead of the competition. Constant Contact, helping the small stand tall. You guys, I'm so glad I found Constant Contact and can't wait to get started. Get a free 30-day trial when you go to constantcontact.com. Try Constant Contact free for 30 days at constantcontact.com, constantcontact.com.
And so when we're thinking about going in the next level of your business, step into that next level as if it's already done. It's already done. It's already completed. It's thriving. Because so the reality that we're in right now, we manifested this. I didn't manifest this morning. I manifested this a long time ago. And so what are you manifesting right now that it's already on its way to you? So we're like working with the future right now, which is really exciting. So where do you want to take your business? Start operating in that frequency right now so that it has an easier way of finding you. It won't find you if you're not vibing there.
Oh man, you have me thinking so much about walking in like you own the place. So if someone doesn't own something right now, but they live in an apartment or a house, I just realized it's like, how do you feel if you have people over at your house when you own the place? You're walking into the room instead of being uncomfortable, it's almost like you seek to comfort or you seek to give or nurture,
right?
Or go pull out something that you love and show them how proud you are.
Yes.
Or just listen to people. It's a very different energy than walking into someone else's house.
Right.
But if we took the energy of like being in our own house and seeking to comfort, not to the point where you're like going, making yourself uncomfortable, but that feeling of how can I give walking into a room like that is such a different energy for people.
Yes.
Because let's talk about that. Is needy an energy or frequency? Tell me about that.
Well, what is being needy though? So, I mean, yes, we can.
Desperate, needy. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I've been there.
Yeah. It's got its own frequency that comes from lack and scarcity and people pleasing tendencies, all of that, right? Of wanting to be loved. So that means you're feeling like you're not loved or seen or heard or understood, right? So needy is like this like desperation of wanting something so bad. Well, we can't get that thing outside of ourselves. We have to feel that internally first because if you're in the woo-woo game at all, you know that anybody in front of you is just a reflection of you. And so you're going to be met with needy and energy vampires and desperate energy. And it's just not ever going to match up. So it's how can you find the stillness within yourself? How can you feel the love? How can you allow yourself to be heard and felt and seen and heard internally first? Then everything on the outside starts to reflect that same thing. I'll break it down even more. So say you buy a new car. Well, guess what car you're going to start seeing on the street all the time now? That same kind of car.
Right.
It's just a reflection. So what do you want to reflect outside of you? And that's how you can start to rewire the interactions that you're having, the dynamics, the business interactions, the contracts that you're coming up against. All of that is just a reflection of what's going on internally. I started putting this into practice even more recently. I kind of wanted to play with the universe a little bit.
Yeah.
There's certain things that I want right now that I was like, I haven't been feeling the momentum behind it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to start really small. I did a channeled message a few weeks ago, maybe a week ago, about finding a golden duck. It was the coolest channeled message ever. And I've had hundreds of people message me about how they found their golden duck. And so I'm just playing with the universe of like, okay, show me this. Give me evidence that you're listening to me.
So you're just asking for a sign.
Asking for the signs.
Like you'll just say something random, like, I want to see a golden duck.
Yeah.
Show me. And then you forget about it.
I forget about it.
And it comes in like what? A week, a month, a year?
It really depends. It depends on the timing, right? So divine timing is really everything also. But trusting that it's going to find me no matter what. I'm not holding on to a timeline. I'm really like, when it's time, it's time.
Yeah.
And I'm open to receiving it. So when it's time to elevate, I know that the opportunities are going to find me if I'm open and if I'm in a state of acceptance and being able to receive and surrendering the control to how it gets to me and when it gets to me.
So let's go back to your sound and what you do. So if somebody is interested in kind of working more with sound, they can go, obviously, I think you have some stuff online. They can go find somebody who can do sound baths. But truly, when you're in the room, it's kind of like you're playing different bowls that have the different frequencies. So you're like, tell me, you're raising like heart frequency. What else are you working with? So when we leave that room, you're truly raising it. Do we want to think of intentions while we're doing it?
Yes. Yeah. So setting an intention is really important for your everyday life, but specifically if you're going into any modality of what do you want to get out of that experience? And then you open yourself up to receiving that. And I work with all of the chakras in the body throughout a session. So I'll go from the root to the sacral, to the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, the crown. And my goal in a sound healing session is to clear dense energy out of the way and almost like sifting for gold. So we're like putting it through this filter of frequency to allow the gold to rise to the top. And that's when you start to feel really, really good. And really to bring you into full alignment. So really attuning the body back to its vibrational signature that you hold. My vibration signature is different from yours. We all have our own vibrational signature, but this brings us home to that feeling. And then we are the most magnetic that we can be.
And that's the goal with this. If you're like, okay, why would I work so hard to do this? Well, you actually do less work in your life.
Yeah.
It's crazy how I can start to see things that were like people that were not even in my realm who have complemented something that I need or something that I'm excited about that I didn't even know I could be excited about. Like things that are even outside of your hopes and dreams because you're too clogged up with all of the other stuff. So when you're in alignment, when you're in a higher frequency, you're attracting other high frequency opportunities and they just come to you, which is the whole goal.
That is the whole goal. And to be open to the unimaginable. We are so limited as humans.
Totally.
And so I couldn't even possibly dream up my dream life if I wanted to. I can try and it's a joke. Like it's not even close to what is possible. So I always say, I set an intention of surprise me, delight me, show me how good it gets. Like shock me. I dare you. I tell the universe, I dare you all the time.
Yeah, I love that. I was just thinking about an opportunity that came last summer when I was just, I love wake surfing. I'm in like self-actualization. That is me on a wakeboard. Like truly, I truly feel like I experience it. Like I go into a vortex that it's euphoria.
Yeah.
And one would think that during going and staying for the summer at a lake house and doing that, even though I was working, but it was definitely a more like higher vibration period for me because I was in joy.
Yeah.
And I attracted money and an opportunity that I couldn't have even fathomed. And it was more money that I could have imagined during a time period that I wouldn't have expected.
Absolutely.
And looking back, I'm like, I was just in a lot more joy.
Yes.
During that period.
So joy is the frequency, I think, of 600 or 650. So you're literally right there, right under self-actualization. So you probably did peak into self-actualization. And whenever I've signed my biggest contracts with clients, when I've been on vacation, when I have been having fun, when I've been in full surrender mode and just having the time of my life, that is literally the times I've signed the biggest contracts I've ever had.
Chris and I have had conversations about that because when we were back in network marketing, we would always hit our next level. It was like stars back then.
Yeah.
I think 9 out of 10 we hit on a vacation.
So how many more vacations can you go on?
That's what we kept saying. We were like, why don't we vacation more? This is what everybody is attracted to. They all tune in. They all want to know. They all want that life.
Yeah.
And, it can be that. It is that because they want the higher frequency.
Yes.
So when are you in that?
Like attracts like.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So tell us how we can work with you online.
Yes, I have.
Or in person.
In person or online. I have my Rise Spiritual Mentorship, which is one-on-one working with me on how to really individualize your frequency and raise it to a really high frequency.
I think Lindsay did that one, right?
Lindsay
Schwartz, who does Powerhouse.
Yes, she's done it. I've had some really, really amazing people come through that program, and you get sound healing in that as well. That's the only way that you can get one-on-one sound healing with me. And I have an online platform called the Sound Vault. So you can find sound from any corner of the universe through the Sound Vault and raise your vibration that way.
And you'll all be doing it online too, which is so cool if you're not in Arizona.
Yes, everything is online. Rise is online or in person, so you don't need to be with me. I had a woman come through Rise 2 rounds ago, and she was in 11 different countries throughout the program, and it was really powerful. So you can be anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I've loved my experiences with you. I've had something massively shifting every single time.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's probably not any different for people online, truly.
Really.
Yeah. I am so grateful that you came.
Thank you.
This was so much fun. And you guys, something you didn't totally get to experience is she's also just very intuitive, very wise. If you do get to work with her in person, it's kind of a next level mind-blowing experience where I'm just a different person on the other side. Okay, but you withheld something that you do. You actually do this all of the time, which is so cool. Speaking of being intuitive, and she is going to give us a channeled message, literally for right now, for everybody whose ears are listening. You probably manifested this yourself. It's probably what you need. But we're going to do that in the bonus content. And all you have to do is go down to the show notes and click on the bonus content, and we're going to send it to you. But Sam, where can we find you and follow you?
Yes. You can find me on Instagram at Sam_E_pants, Sammy Pants, or my website is SamanthaHarper.com, and all of my info is there.
You're amazing.
I'm so grateful. I love you. Thank you.
And you guys tune in to the next episode. Otherwise, go over to that bonus content now. And thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.